Each senator, when his or her name is called, will stand in his or her place, and they'll vote guilty or not guilty as required by Rule 23 of the Senate Rules of Impeachment. Article 1, Section 3, Clause 6 of the Constitution, regarding the vote required for conviction on impeachment, provides that, quote, no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of two-thirds of the members present, close quote.
On March 9th, 2026, something absolutely extraordinary happened in Congress. A bipartisan group of House lawmakers issued an ultimatum to President Trump. They gave him 72 hours to resign or they would initiate expedited impeachment proceedings. This wasn't some fringe group of radical Democrats. This wasn't just the far left pushing for impeachment again. This was a bipartisan coalition. This included 8 Republican members of Congress. 8 GOP representatives signed onto this resolution demanding Trump resign or face impeachment.
The question is on the article of impeachment. Senators, how say you? Is the respondent Donald John Trump guilty or not guilty? A roll call vote is required, and the clerk will call the roll.
That's the kind of thing that signals the end of a presidency. That's the kind of thing that means Trump's time is running out. That's the kind of thing that means the institutions of government are finally saying enough is enough. The resolution is formally designated as H. 247. It cites abuse of power and obstruction as the grounds for the impeachment threat. The resolution says Trump's conduct endangers national security. The resolution says Trump has repeatedly abused his power. The resolution says Trump has obstructed justice. The resolution gives Trump 72 hours to resign voluntarily. If he doesn't resign within 72 hours, the resolution commits to initiating immediate impeachment proceedings.
Over the last several months, the investigative committees of the House have been engaged in an impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump's efforts to solicit foreign interference in the 2020 elections, efforts that compromised our national security and threatened the integrity of our elections.
The House is prepared to vote on impeachment by March 12th if they can secure the 218 votes needed for passage. And according to the current count, they probably can secure those votes because you've got all the Democrats lined up. You've got 150 Democrats signed on to this resolution. And you've got 8 Republicans who have broken ranks and joined the Democrats in demanding Trump resign or face impeachment. Now, let's understand why this is happening right now and why it's so significant. This isn't coming out of nowhere. This is the direct result of the cascading scandals from the past few days. You've got the Manhattan DA's office filing an impeachment referral accusing Trump of perjury in the fraud case.
However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election.
You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene breaking ranks and exposing Trump's alleged third-term plans and tariff admissions. You've got Kristi Nolan being fired and leaking about the $220 million ad campaign. You've got the FBI memos being leaked showing Kash Patel approving illegal firings of agents who investigated Trump. You've got a federal judge calling Trump a liar about his asset valuations. All of this is happening simultaneously. All of this is hitting at the same time, and Congress is saying this is too much. The institutions can't function with the president engaged in this level of corruption.
Yeah, Mugo, good to be with you. We know that back in February of 2024, a Manhattan judge ordered that President Trump and his businesses pay over $364 million over allegedly falsifying business records with interest that grew to be over $500 million. We know that President Trump, nearly a year ago from now, appealed that. The appeals court did not make a decision on their case until today, where they found that panel of judges, they were split on the merits of the lawsuit against President Trump and his businesses.
This has to stop. Either Trump resigns voluntarily or Congress is going to force him out through impeachment. Trump's response was absolutely characteristic. He dismissed the resolution as a loser witch hunt. He said the Democrats are trying to get him because they lost the election. He said impeachment failed twice before, so it'll fail this time, too. He said the rhinos, Republicans in name only, who signed on to this resolution will regret it. He made threats. He attacked the people demanding his resignation. But Trump did not address the substance of the allegations.
But I'm not just running against Joe Biden, I'm running against the left-wing mob and the left-wing media, the big tech giants, and I'm also running against the rhinos. Do you know what a rhino is? A rhino may be the lowest form of human life. I actually sort of like the others better than the rhinos.
Trump did not explain the $220 million ad campaign. Trump did not defend approving illegal FBI firings. Trump did not address the perjury allegations from the Manhattan DA. Trump did not address the third-term plans that Green exposed. Trump just attacked the people calling for his resignation. That's what Trump does when he can't defend his own conduct. He attacks his enemies instead of defending his actions. But here's what's really significant about this moment. You've got 8 Republican House members willing to break ranks and demand Trump's resignation. That's not nothing. That's significant.
A social media post from President Trump is making news today. He posted a message pressing the Attorney General Pam Bondi to indict several of his political rivals. An administration official confirmed to NBC News that Trump thought he'd sent the message directly to Bondi. He was surprised to learn he had actually posted the message on Truth Social. Since the post was made, 2 of the 3 people mentioned by name in the post have been indicted: former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James.
8 GOP representatives are saying, "We're members of Trump's own party, and we're telling you to resign or face impeachment." These are people who probably got elected with Trump support. These are people who have been part of the Republican Party coalition. These are people who have probably defended Trump in the past, and now they're saying enough is enough. We can't defend this anymore. We can't be part of this anymore. Trump has to go. That's the kind of thing that happens at the end of a presidency. That's what happens when Trump's own party starts abandoning him. The Senate implications are absolutely crucial here, too. For impeachment to actually result in Trump's removal, you need 2/3 of the Senate to vote for conviction. That's 67 senators if all 100 are voting. Right now, there are 52 Republican senators and 48 Democratic senators. So, you would need 15 Republican senators to vote for removal. 15 out of 52. That's actually not an impossible number. That's actually plausible. If enough Republicans get nervous about being associated with Trump, and there's whispers in the Senate, there's talk among Republican senators about whether they would vote to convict. Some senators are apparently saying they would consider it if the evidence is strong enough. Some senators are apparently getting nervous about Trump's approval ratings crashing and what that means for their own elections. Some senators are apparently realizing that defending Trump is becoming a political liability instead of an asset. Trump's approval rating is now at 38% according to the latest polling. That's extraordinarily low. That's the kind of approval rating that means the president has lost the country. That's the kind of approval rating that makes congressional Republicans nervous about being associated with the president. That's the kind of approval rating that makes senators think about voting for conviction if impeachment actually happens, because senators care about their own re-election. Senators care about polling in their states. Senators care about whether voting to protect Trump helps or hurts them politically. And when Trump's approval is at 38%, senators are going to start thinking that maybe voting to convict is actually the smart political move for their own career. So what we're looking at is actually a genuine possibility of Trump being impeached and convicted and removed from office. That's not hyperbole. That's not crazy talk. That's an actual possibility based on the current political situation. You've got a bipartisan group of House members demanding Trump resign or face impeachment.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things.
You've got documented evidence of illegal firings at the FBI. You've got documented evidence of a fraudulent ad campaign that Trump approved. You've got documented evidence that Trump admitted to using policies as smokescreens. You've got a prosecutor accusing Trump of perjury. You've got a federal judge saying Trump is a liar. You've got Trump's own cabinet members breaking ranks and exposing him. That's the kind of situation that leads to removal from office. That's the kind of situation where Trump actually might have to resign rather than face impeachment and conviction. All right, so let's understand what EJ Res 247 actually contains and why it's so significant Because this resolution is the most serious formal action that Congress has taken yet to remove Trump. The resolution cites multiple specific instances of abuse of power and obstruction. The resolution references the illegal FBI firings that Kash Patel approved. The resolution references the $220 million no-bid ad campaign that Trump approved but then denied approving. The resolution references the perjury referral from the Manhattan DA, accusing Trump of lying under oath in the fraud case. The resolution references the fact that Trump tried to use his power to obstruct the prosecutions against him. The resolution references Trump's attempts to interfere with the investigations through firing officials and retaliating against investigators. The resolution says Trump's conduct endangers national security because it undermines confidence in government institutions. The resolution says Trump's conduct violates the Constitution. The resolution says Trump has committed the kind of high crimes and misdemeanors that warrant removal from office. The 8 Republican signatories are particularly significant because they're not just random backbenchers. These are House members who have actual standing in their party. These are House members who had to make a real calculation about whether signing on to this resolution was worth the political cost. And they made the decision that it was. They made the decision that Trump's conduct was so egregious that they had to break ranks and demand his resignation. The Republican signatories are specifically citing the NOM ad scandal and the Patel FBI firings as reasons for their decision. They're saying, we can't defend this anymore. We can't be part of a party that protects a president engaged in this level of corruption. We have to draw a line and say, no, that's a big deal. That's Republicans breaking ranks in a way that's normally reserved for the most serious breaches of constitutional conduct. Now, let's talk about the timeline and what happens if Trump doesn't resign within the 72-hour window. If Trump doesn't resign, the House is prepared to call an expedited impeachment vote by March 12th. That's just a few days. The House leadership has apparently already counted the votes. They apparently already have the 218 votes needed for impeachment. All the Democrats are going to vote for impeachment. That's 195 Democratic votes, assuming they're all unified. You only need 18 Republican votes to reach 218. And there are apparently more than 8 Republicans who might vote for impeachment. There are apparently some Republicans who are considering it. But might break and vote for impeachment when the actual roll call happens. So, it's plausible that impeachment could pass with bipartisan support. That's significant. That would mean Trump is impeached with support from his own party. The Senate part is where it gets really interesting. If Trump is impeached, the Senate holds a trial to determine whether to convict and remove him. That trial would be the 3rd impeachment trial of Trump's presidency. First trial in 2020 before his term ended. Second trial after he left office, and now potentially a 3rd trial while he's sitting as president. In the trial, both sides present evidence, both sides argue, and then senators vote. You need 67 votes for conviction. That's 2/3 of the Senate. Right now, you've got 52 Republicans and 48 Democrats. So, all 48 Democrats would vote for conviction. That gives you 48 votes. You need 19 more votes from Republicans. You need 19 Republicans out of 52 to vote for conviction. Is that possible? Maybe. There's apparently whispers in the Senate that some Republicans might actually vote for conviction. There's apparently conversations happening behind closed doors about whether voting for conviction is the right move politically. Let's talk about the Republican senators who might be vulnerable to voting for conviction. Senators from blue states or purple states might be more willing to vote for conviction because it might help them politically in their states. Senators who are retiring might be more willing to vote for conviction because they don't have to worry about primary challenges. Senators who are up for re-election in 2026 and facing tough races might be more willing to vote for conviction if Trump's approval in their states is very low. Senators who are generally viewed as institutionalists might be willing to vote for conviction because they care about the Constitution and rule of law more than they care about party loyalty. So there are potentially multiple categories of senators who might vote for conviction. And if enough of them break, Trump could actually be removed from office. That's not just theory. That's an actual possibility based on the current political situation. The cascade of scandals that led to this ultimatum is also important to understand. The Marjorie Taylor Greene revelations broke ranks for Trump's coalition. The Christie Nolan firing and leaks showed Trump throwing his own cabinet members under the bus. The Kash Patel FBI memo leaks showed Trump using law enforcement for political revenge. The Manhattan DA perjury referral showed prosecutors saying Trump committed crimes. The federal judge calling Trump a liar showed judges questioning Trump's honesty. All of this is happening simultaneously. All of this is creating an environment where Congress is saying this has to stop. The institutions are breaking down. Government is failing. Something has to be done. Either Trump resigns or Congress has to force him out. That's the logic that's driving this bipartisan ultimatum. Trump's public response has been absolutely defiant. Trump said these rhinos will regret demanding his resignation. Trump said impeachment failed twice before, so it'll fail this time, too. Trump said, this is a loser witch hunt by Democrats trying to get revenge. But Trump hasn't addressed the substance of the allegations. Trump hasn't defended the illegal FBI firings. Trump hasn't explained the $220 million ad campaign contradiction. Trump hasn't addressed the perjury allegations. Trump hasn't explained the third-term plans. Trump just attacked his critics instead of defending his conduct. That's what happens when Trump can't actually defend what he's done. He attacks instead. He distracts instead. He tries to change the subject instead of actually addressing the accusations. But here's what's really important about Trump's position right now. Trump is isolated. Trump doesn't have the support he used to have. His own party is breaking ranks. His own cabinet members are breaking ranks. His approval is in the basement at 38%. Congress is issuing ultimatums. Prosecutors are filing perjury referrals. Judges are calling him a liar. Multiple federal agencies have leaked damaging information. The institutions of government are turning against Trump. That's the moment when a president is in real danger. That's the moment when resignation actually becomes a real possibility, because continuing to fight becomes more costly than just stepping down. All right, let's break down what happens next and what this ultimatum actually means for Trump's political future, because we're at a genuine inflection point. First, let's talk about the most likely scenario, which is that Trump doesn't resign and the House votes on impeachment around March 12th. Trump's defiant nature means he's almost certainly not going to resign. Trump is going to fight. Trump is going to attack his critics. Trump is going to double down on his claims that this is a witch hunt. So, the House is probably going to vote on impeachment, and based on the current vote count, impeachment is probably going to pass with significant bipartisan support. That means Trump gets impeached for the third time in his presidency. That means Trump becomes only the fourth president in American history to be impeached. That's historically significant. That's the kind of thing that defines a presidency. Once impeachment passes in the House, the case goes to the Senate. The Senate holds a trial. The trial will be a major media event. The trial will last for weeks. Both sides will present evidence. Both sides will make arguments. And then senators will vote. Now, here's where it gets really interesting politically. If Trump's approval continues to decline, if more scandals come out, if more cabinet members break ranks, Republican senators are going to get increasingly nervous. Republican senators are going to start thinking that maybe voting to convict is actually better for their own political future than voting to acquit. Because if they vote to acquit and Trump continues to be a disaster, voters in their states might punish them. But if they vote to convict early, they can say they were part of removing a corrupt president that might actually help them politically in their own states. The House vote is almost certain to happen and almost certain to result in impeachment. The Senate vote is less certain, but more plausible than impeachment conviction usually is because normally impeachment is purely partisan. Both parties line up and vote for their team. But this impeachment is different.